Hi, my name is Wesley Autry, and today I'm going to talk to you about the advantages and, yes, the disadvantages of buying a hybrid car versus a non-hybrid car, or better known as a conventional car. Now, I mention the advantages and disadvantages because if you're going to talk about a subject, you have to talk about the positive as well as the negative. And I'm going to show you, or persuade you, or convince you, if you will, that there are more positive reasons for buying a hybrid car versus not buying a hybrid car. Well, first off, we must explain what a hybrid car is. It is a car that is both gas-powered and battery-operated. Buying a hybrid car can be very wonderful thing in your life, if you will. There's plenty of advantages to buying a hybrid car. Now, some of the advantages are they're very energy efficient. And by being very energy efficient, of course, there are less pollutants that they produce, which if there are less pollutants, it's better for the environment. And when it's better for the environment, the air around you is cleaner. And when the air around you is cleaner, everybody can breathe better, whether that be birds, plants, or people. So it's a very good thing. Hybrids are very reliable. They have very low maintenance right now, and there are lots of different incentives for buying hybrids, but each state is a little bit different as far as what incentives are being offered. You have to check with that particular state that you live in. Also, there are tax incentives for buying hybrids, and again, you'll have to check with your particular state that you live in to see what some of the tax incentives are. Now, hybrids, the future is just beyond belief now. I mean, it's very much a booming industry, and so there should be plenty of jobs that are related to this market in the manufacture of hybrids. And that's very good for the economy as well as being very good for the environment. Now, they have very good braking systems too, so that's a plus. And you know how it can be sometimes in heavy traffic. You need good braking systems. And there are lots of different kinds of warranties on hybrids. So a lot of things that some people might think, well, hey, if this breaks down, it might not get covered in a warranty. Well, there's different kinds of warranties than what there are for non-hybrid cars or conventional cars, if you will. So you just have to check with your manufacturer because it's a little different with the different manufacturers. And pretty much nowadays, most car manufacturers have some kind of hybrid model out there, whether they be just a regular sedan, an SUV, and even some car manufacturers are making hybrid trucks now. So there you go. Now, I know with every positive there is a negative. For every plus there's a minus. Yes, there are some minuses to buying hybrid cars. Cost is one thing. Right now, the cost factor is a little bit higher than your average car. We're talking $3,000 to $5,000 more than what you would be paying for a non-hybrid car. So sometimes people, kind of steer away from that. Also, the technology is only a few years old. They haven't perfected all the bugs yet. Most of the bugs, but not all the bugs. So we still got a little ways to go with our technology. They are a little bit heavier than your regular cars. And that's because of the batteries that they need. It's just a little bit heavier, so they might weigh a little bit more. And some states have different rules and regulations, so they're not all the same. So again, you have to check with your state that you live in just to see what the rules and regulations are, because they're not universal yet. Well, and some people are afraid of if you get in a car accident, a bad one, maybe the batteries might leak and cause some kind of damage to the environment or to themselves or to the cars. We don't know yet. That's still being looked into. And the other disadvantage, well, It takes a specialized mechanic to be able to work on a hybrid. Just your average person, with the way the technology is today, cannot work on a regular hybrid. You have to take it to a specialist, and that costs a little extra. But the good about it is they are very reliable, so if you do have to put out some money, it's not a lot. Well, that's some of the advantages and disadvantages. But there's also some more advantages, if you will, for the environment. And I'm going to tell you about some of those. And this outweighs some of the disadvantages. Well, some of the advantages to buying hybrids are, of course, they're environmentally friendly. And by being environmentally friendly, they have less emissions. And less emissions into our atmosphere means less pollutants. And it means cleaner air. Now, that's a big plus. So if you live in a big city, you know, you've got a cleaner city if majority of your people are driving around hybrids. Also, as time goes, they will become more economical. The price will come down. You know, as the supply and demand, you know, they become more available, the price will go down a lot. I know they are a little bit expensive now because there's not as many on the road, but as we get more on the road, the price will go down. So that's a good thing. They are by far more fuel efficient because you're working on a regular gas for a while, and then you're working off the battery. So your gas mileage is bound to go up. And that's more economical as you spend less money on gas. So that's a good thing. And, you know, and they're making them better looking. I know the first few years of the models, they were rather ugly. Let's face it, they were just not exactly what a typical 18 to 25-year-old wanted to drive. Let's face it, they were just not cool. Well, they're coming up with new models. And they're making them better looking. And some, as in some of the SUVs, are quite nice looking, actually. Like some of your Ford Escapes and your GM Yukons. I mean, other than the fact that they say hybrid on the side, you don't even know that's a hybrid. So they've come a long way. They're not these ugly ones that some of the manufacturers, and I'm not trying to pick on, you know, those particular manufacturers, but when they first came out, let's face it, those models were just ugly. But they're making advances, and they're making them better looking. And by making them better looking, and they're doing all kinds of improvements, more people are going to want to buy hybrids. And by buying more hybrids, it's a good thing for our pockets, our environment, and for our future of our Earth as for us as people. It's a good thing. Yeah. So I hope now by me going over this and explaining this a little bit about buying hybrids versus conventional cars, or non-hybrids, if you will. I hope that by my little speech here today that I was able to convince you, or persuade you, if you will, that it's better to buy a hybrid than not.